Welcome to the Predicted Podcast. I'm Jacob Studwell. I'm here with Garth Yuckham. So we got another 4 a.m. call last night. What do you think? Full clap for Wisconsin? Half clap?
Oh,
most of it?
totally.
It's a full
Yeah.
clap. It's a full clap.
I think
Good
it's
stuff.
definitely full clap. Yeah.
Count your votes. Count your
3:30,
votes.
I think Decision Desk called it at 2:20 in the morning. AP got there at 3:34 in the morning. That's pretty spiffy if you ask me. I
For a
mean,
race
you
within 1 percentage point, how much better can you do?
3,000 votes. I mean,
Right.
that's pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Agreed.
Wisconsin, Michigan, Minnesota, they're all doing a good job.
Everyone
Midwestern
putting in the
states.
work. We appreciate you. 4 a.m. calls are still tough. I still went to bed, pre-call. Actually, I think when I went to bed, Hong was still up to like 75 cents, something like that. So traders got
Yep.
flipped around. I think it was about 4 different times. Hong going into the night was still around 91 cents going into the night. And then traders got a little skittish, probably lived closer to 70, 75 cents for most of the night. And
Yep.
then they started to really learn their lesson deep and late. And then Crowley took it. I think it's surprising in just a polling context, and just double digit leads in primaries are not safe. I think that's important to note.
Yep.
We were comparing it to soccer at one point. That double digit leads are like 3-0 leads essentially.
2-0 leads, the worst kind of lead you can have. It's
2-0 leads. But in a primary, it feels something like okay, maybe it's a 2-0 lead in like a high school soccer game, something like that, where where it can turn real fast. And honestly, this is clear. This is the DSA sacrificial lamb here. This is the clearest DSA loss, and the most notable one. And frankly, it was a pretty nationalized race, given it was a governor's primary in a swing state. But
Yep.
it certainly tells you a lot about the Democratic electorate, just in terms of how much of the vote share is there for a socialist. I mean, I was taking a closer look at where Madison is. I think it's Dane County. She did not run it up in where Madison was, the most liberal part of the state. She didn't really run
Right.
it up too much in any individual county, and I think that's going to be the restrictor valve here for any socialist candidates. And before I pivot to where I want to go with this, I don't know, any other takeaways? There are lots of other good House race primaries and such. Do you want to hit on anything else?
Well, were right about Dane County. I mean, she only won by 8%, 44 to 36, according to the AP. I think the most galling thing here from a democratic socialist perspective or a progressive perspective is how they left Hong out to dry.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yep.
mean, no endorsements from AOC, no endorsement from Tammy Baldwin, no endorsement from Mark Pocan, no endorsement from Bernie Sanders. I mean, they left her high and dry
Yep.
in her moment of need. Tony Evers, did he do that? No, he didn't. He got behind Crowley in a late, albeit late endorsement.
Right.
But
Right.
it's kind of, to me, fascinating how, the team showed up in Michigan for El Said, but the team did not show up for Hong. I mean,
Yeah.
do they think? Do they know? Do they have some polling that says, or some sort of data point that says that
Yeah.
Hong was a cooked goose or a cooked turkey in this case come November?
Not for her. Not for her.
Not for her. So I mean,
No,
I
that's
think
fair.
that's the most interesting part to me.
Yeah, no, you're right. I think they have a lot of really good discernment tactics here. I would love to read into it further. And that's where I'm going with the analysis here, is that this is a big result for AOC in that she did not get behind this candidate. Uh, and what you put in the newsletter just a few days ago, like the woke one comment, I think she's starting to notice that only getting the progressives in a Democratic primary, yes, maybe it's better than in
Yeah.
2016. There's more vote share there, but there's still not enough for a true majority, just a plurality. And in a big field, sure, that's great. If you're getting 25% in a 10 candidate field, amazing.
Yep.
You're gonna look amazing. But the question is, when the field whittles down, where are those undecided voters going? And how do they latch on to you? How are they appealed? How do you appeal messaging wise to them? And AOC started a pivot to the middle, the most clear one yet, calling woke one crazy. And honestly, we will probably be repeating that for the next year and a half. That's a really notable quote
Yeah.
that I think she hopes lives in the minds of voters to basically say, look, I'm practical here. Okay. I'm not for or I'm not against Thanksgiving, right? I think
Right. No,
I think
exactly.
that was maybe the straw that broke the camel's back. What's interesting is everybody and their mother did endorse Graham Plattner. So discernment aside, like there's discernment and then there's getting things wrong. And
Yeah.
I think they just kind of got one right here. I don't know if it was
Well,
lucky or not, but they
you
did.
know, I'm not so sure it's lucky. I mean, especially if we stay on the AOC line of thinking here, that coming out on Sunday, 2 days before the vote, talking about herself, talking about her future, talking about, where she sees the platform going, that's calculated to me.
Yeah.
That's saying, okay, Hong is the sacrificial lamb. We can't get behind this. And we're going to pivot a different direction.
Hmm.
Now, again, you got to feel sorry for Hong considering what the polling was telling her. And, she did,
Yeah.
in Milwaukee County. I mean, if Crowley's from Milwaukee County, that's his bread and butter. I mean, he barely beat Hong by 2 percentage points. I mean, we're talking about 3,000 votes there. So I think AOC and co, well, especially AOC, if she had backed Hong, she runs away with it.
Mhm.
She runs away with it. But again, Hong represents a different piece of the party that isn't the main part of the party. It's not the party that they need come November.
Now, I don't have a second screen, so you're gonna have to give me the pricing, the live pricing. But in my eyes, I think AOC was probably 55% to run for president, something like
63,
45% to run.
60, 60. I think it's 63%, 34, 63,
Okay.
35.
And has that gone up? Because I would run that up after her comments on Sunday and after this DSA
Uh,
loss, interestingly enough.
she's up 3 cents in the last 7 days for president, and right where she's at with the Senate. I mean, I get in many ways that I understand the comments. I mean, there was obviously some good trading on Sunday,
Mhm.
but yeah, or just actually, I think it's Saturday. But it's still quite a ways to go, and she's still forming, and I think the big bump will come after November. I mean,
Yeah.
this is where we're testing messages, right? I mean, this is the
Yeah.
time to do it. Who
Right.
am I going to back? Am I going to back this person or that person? Okay, Graham Plattner, we all got burned. Do we want to get burned again?
Hmm.
No, we don't. So Hong, we pull back on. We went in with Al Saeed. Now, who's going to be the next candidate? Mamdani was a big winner as well. I mean, so you can see that how she could be building that message, if you will, and that positioning of what the Progressive Party should be. A Progressive
Yeah.
Party,
Yeah. And
progressive
I think I'm
movement
just gonna
should.
say I love that contract so much. I'm in love with a 63 cent AOC running for president contract. Now you're right though. I don't think she's going to be probably even the first batch to announce her candidacy
No,
for president. She will
no.
probably be in the back half when people have strong questions. You're going to get
Yeah.
more of the Pete Buttigieg's who have nothing to do announcing first, right?
Yep.
And less of the AOC, John Ossoff, people who are like busy generally are going to
Yep.
get to it much later. So while
Yeah.
you're right, there's time. I can't say enough that I love that AOC running for president contract. I think this pivot to the middle is just kind of reading the room, understanding the
Yep.
electorate.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I like AOC's chances better too. So, like, if you tell me how much she is in the actual denom
Yep.
nomination market,
Yeah,
it's
she's just underneath Ossoff and Gavin Newsom, who've all come back down to earth a little bit. You
right,
know,
right.
you're right. It's like if you think about the timing, right? So she's testing her message, who she's backing. You know, she's doing the work, the groundwork. You know, you have the midterms. Democrats come back into control of the House. Now she's like got her own pulpit there. She can do as much sound making as she wants,
Hmm.
ground shaking, if you will. And yeah, I mean, it primes her perfectly for a run for the presidency, come or not. I mean, she could easily she'll have the choice as opposed to having to like make a move first. And I think you've got that totally right. I mean, you know, the contract runs to the end of 2027. I mean, that's sets up beautifully. She gets a year of rollicking the Trump administration using Trump as her foil, and then she can hop
Especially with
in
a
or
majority, she'll be
yeah,
in the majority there. Most
yep,
likely, that's what all the
yeah,
models are showing. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. Honestly, the only reason I say I love the presidency contract is because she didn't need to pivot to the middle for the New York Senate seat. That was
no,
hers no matter what. It didn't
yep,
matter what she really did or said. That was her seat if she wanted it. But clearly, she is interested in going further, in doing more, in creating bigger coalitions. And I will say, those are the most successful candidates. Those are the most
yeah,
successful candidates that actually go the distance, that actually build extremely tested coalitions. And I also think that really is the takeaway from the whole primary season. If we're starting to wrap up a little bit, I think there's much less interesting races on the horizon. There might be a few here or
right,
there, but last night was really the big blowout. And if we look at how primaries have tested different candidates, it tells you how much the Democrats missed out on a short primary process in 2024. Because when you put
yeah,
a spotlight on a candidate, they either get sharper or they don't succeed, and that's pretty much how it's supposed to work,
exactly,
right? So you see Hong, you shine a spotlight on a person like Hong who, doesn't like holidays and is a little bit static and robotic,
yep,
not winning those endorsements, and it doesn't work out. It doesn't work out, even though the polling is there. It doesn't happen. And I also think the whole Mandela Barnes dropping out. I mean, the
yep,
dropouts this year have been so impactful on these
yes,
primary races because they're typically, 3, 4 candidates. So if you're a candidate with like 7, 8, 9, 10%, and you drop out, and you're usually similar to another candidate. So even if you don't endorse, your people are going to flock somewhere else. So all the polling before Mandela Barnes dropped out, basically throw that in the garbage. But one more thing on
yeah,
polling before I let you go. I have to say that just because this polling round, this whole month, basically the last 30 days plus, has been putrid, and it has been. I'm not gonna lie, it's
yep,
been very bad.
yep,
It doesn't mean the general election polling is going to be bad. So I would not expect big giant swings outside of margin of error, especially because we're going to have a lot more polling. It's going to be much easier to guess the electorate. The primary in Wisconsin was open. So that is really, really hard to
yep,
figure out. There was a lot of undecideds. So don't
yep,
throw the general election polling out with the bathwater, right? You,
yeah,
you can throw out the primary polling. That's totally fine. Always a warning there. Primary polling is not successful, but come the
yeah,
general election, trust the polling a little bit more than you have been, even if you're a little
yeah.
scarred.
I mean, you're right about the open primary thing. I mean, Republicans spent millions of dollars to promote Hong, and you know, Democrats do the same thing. You know, when they see a candidate they think that they're gonna, you know, have better success at, you know, it's this astroturfing, I believe we call it, right, where we,
Yep.
you know, go out of our way to push or enhance another candidate's success because we think that we'll have a much better chance in the general. And I think this is probably a pretty good case. I think it's just interesting how wide off the mark the last 2 weeks have been when it comes to the polling in Michigan, and maybe we'll just chalk it up to the fact that it's the summer and people have other things better to do than answer polls.
Maybe. I mean, that's fair, but I also think there are structural challenges with polling, and I think we know for a fact that polling in the past has underrepresented that rural conservative voter,
Yep.
or rural lean conservative voter, I should say,
Yep.
because they're not necessarily tried and true classical conservatives. They're just rural, and they
Yep.
lean Trump in a bunch of elections, and we know those were underrepresented. And maybe now we're starting to learn that those socialist voters, those far left voters who maybe they're younger, those people are starting to be overrepresented by these polling structures. So we're starting to find patterns,
Perhaps, yeah.
and understand. So not that I would systematically underestimate a socialist candidate just because of this, but it's something to watch out for. It's something to know. It's something to watch
Definitely.
out for. And yeah, I still I believe in polling. I really do, especially polling aggregation, not necessarily individual
Right.
polls, but if we're taking
Right.
10 different polls, 2 weeks out from the election, and we're aggregating together, it's going to give us a really good sense. And the markets
Yep.
think the same way, right? There's a reason Hong was 91 cents going into last night.
Yeah.
That's where the money flows. So let's not throw the polling out. Beautiful. Uh, all right. Trying to think. Okay. Cronin won in Connecticut. I think that's Cronin. Or
I love it.
see, this is
Uh,
the old school way. This is the old school way. And what's funny, Garth, is I don't even really need to know his name. I just know that he was 78 and he lost in a primary, and that really should be the large
Larson,
takeaway here.
John
Thank you.
Larson,
Thank you.
going for his 15th term in office, lost to a 47-year-old former Hartford mayor, Luke Bronin.
Tells you a lot. Tells you a
Tells
lot.
you a
I
lot.
mean,
I mean, I like the quote. Part of leadership is knowing when it's time to pass the torch. Thank
oh,
you,
that's the from the
Mr.
winner.
That's from Mr. Bronin, yeah. Over on Mr. Larson, going for his,
I mean, it's a
15th
backhanded
term.
compliment, right? It's a
Oh,
joke.
totally.
It's
Totally.
clearly just
Totally.
it's a beautiful joke, and good for him, I guess. But there's no love lost there. Clearly, he's not happy. And guess what?
No.
Tony Evers gets his guy in
In
Wisconsin. So
Wisconsin.
if you
Yeah.
are in your 70s and you are willing to endorse your chosen person, you actually end up having more political capital. So some lessons here for some politicians across the board. Um,
Yes.
if we're moving on to, there was a good race in Alabama in a redistricting situation. Basically, it was a majority black district that got cut up a little bit. It's now like Trump plus 22. I really want to watch that more for the general than for the primaries. I think
Yep.
there are some, the incumbent there may be able to overcome that like Cook Politico plus 22 swing if they're an incumbent and there's a D plus 10 environment. I'm always curious to look at the dummy mandering, as they call it. So that might be a good dummy mander to look out for. That was a special primary last night. Um, let's see. Anything else across the board that was too interesting? I don't.
Well,
I
I
don't.
mean, I want to just go back to the Larson thing because the AP
Yeah.
covers this real fast, and it's something that we just put up on the homepage talking about GOP retirements, and how they may alter the race, especially in
Hmm.
hindsight of the RNC chair coming out on Sunday on the talk shows or on the Hill talk show, about the Republicans holding both the House and the Senate, and the reality is that, there's quite a bit of flux going on, in the House, especially. I mean, you've got 30 different members running for other offices, 30 that are retiring, and 10 that have already lost a primary. I mean, those are big numbers, big flux numbers. And once you've got people disappearing for other jobs or retiring, you're losing that incumbent, strength, that
Yeah.
stronghold.
Hmm.
And so, Larson's a little bit of a different case because it's more about, okay, he's really old and, there's some anger about governing and, maybe he shouldn't be doing it anymore, blah, blah, blah. But I just wanted to highlight real quick, especially after the piece on Sunday, from the RNC chair, and just kind of how that impacts, because it's money. It's a money equation. If you're removing somebody who's been successful, you instantly have to spend more money in that
Yeah.
district to make sure and find a replacement, a qualified
Yeah.
replacement.
Yeah, you have to
So,
build the structures. You have to build the actual structures all over again with a
yep,
new pot of money, with a new person. It
yep,
definitely wipes away a lot of banked resources and money. But let's
hmm
just say resources because it's more than
yeah,
just
resources,
dollars and cents, right? Even though the Republicans
exactly.
have a big money advantage and they will, I think you're right. I think it's a really, really good point. And I think it's cause and effect, right? So I mean, the RNC chair basically sounded like he didn't live in America, saying, no, it's going to be such a clean sweep for the Republicans come November. That weighs on you when you're not speaking in reality, okay? And you're going to
Right.
lose like easy races like and guess what? If you look at Mike Lindell, we haven't gotten to My Pillow yet. That's a big loss. He just lost his job as CEO of My Pillow, and now he loses the primary too. I mean, it's a rough week for him. Now he's denying the
Yeah.
election, yada yada, whatever it is. But uh, that was a Trump endorsement for a candidate who,
Yeah.
not very good, not a very good candidate.
No, never was a good candidate. I mean, and
No.
well, I was seeing a statistic about Trump and Lindell. Trump is like 230 for 237 in his endorsements. This is a really dumb number, like of
Right,
super
it's a dumb
high
number,
success,
very
super high
bad number.
success. But like, and so Lindell becomes one of like the seven who hasn't won, and he just was never a good candidate, and
Right,
I'm a little surprised that Demuth effectively, I mean, in the market struggled so much. I mean, again,
right.
but if
It was
you're
weird.
230 for 237 as a trader, you're looking at that for Trump endorsements. Well, you say, okay, well, he's got Trump endorsement. I mean, why not? We've seen crazier things, and it's not like he's
Yeah.
a nobody. I mean, name recognition wise, maybe not necessarily for good things, but yeah, he got smoked.
If you're a true trader, you're looking at the real numbers. You're removing at least 200 of those endorsements out because they're uncompetitive. I mean,
Yeah,
there's a few on my hand that I can like recall immediately. I mean, the Steve Toth primary is a good one where that
right.
was a competitive primary. He was trying to unseat incumbent. Oh my God, I can't remember. Remind me. Dan Crenshaw. Thank you, Dan Crenshaw.
Yes.
Trying to unseat Dan Crenshaw, like that's a true endorsement. That's a tough endorsement in a race that he was
Yep.
going up against a 3 or 4 time incumbent. So that's in the numbers, but there's probably at least 200 of them that are in the garbage. So
Yeah.
he's probably closer to like 60 or 70% instead of 90%.
Yeah.
Which is like, okay, well, then it comes down to candidate quality. If you're losing 30% of the time, your endorsements,
Yep.
and you see the candidate that you pick. I mean, it reminds me, in Georgia, he also lost an endorsement battle there.
Yes.
They're
For
coming
governor.
pretty fast and furious now. I think more and more. And that's because the president is also not necessarily living with the realities of the environment. And we just got the
No.
CPI numbers this morning, by the way. Inflation is not down to where Republicans would want it to be, and the Francesca Hong, the DSA of it all, seems almost wrapped up for the season. They don't have much boogeyman to go off of, and I, where do you go from here? If you're Donald Trump and you're staring at a split or a full Democratic Congress, and you're going to have to be facing that for the next 2 years. I don't know, Garth. What happens with that situation?
I mean, that's the part I don't understand. Like, if you're building legacy, right, as most second term presidents do, how can you not work your tuchus off to make sure that you have as clear of a path as possible? I mean,
Yeah.
a Democratic House is going to be a nuisance. They're going to investigate the crap out of the Trump administration. You know,
Hmm.
God forbid they lose the Senate. I
Hmm.
mean, he could get impeached. I
Right.
mean,
That's what I'm thinking. I think it's
it's
way more likely. It
It's
goes
way more
from
likely.
0% to, I don't know, 15.
1,000%. No, it goes to like 1,000%. I mean,
Well, I would
they've
say,
already drafted the articles. I mean,
okay, but
it's
he is way. I'm talking more about being removed from office. I think that is more worrisome. I think the Democrats fall right into Trump's hands if they impeach him with no follow through again. That clearly
yeah,
did not help them the first couple times. It really just
sure,
gave them a lot of fodder. So I actually don't think they'll pursue articles of impeachment. They don't have the votes in the Senate. But like, he's not that far from flipping a bunch of Republicans in the Senate and like actually being on death's doorknob. And if Republicans can say,
yeah,
we can just slay the dragon right now and like move on with our lives and all look better for it. And this is the self
yeah,
preservation mode that we've talked about for 9 months now, 8 months, whatever it
yeah,
is. He's so much closer to that. He really is like you no, honestly, 1,000 times isn't a crazy like number to throw out there. He is that much closer to being removed from office. Not that I think it's
yes,
going to happen. Again, I say
right.
10% or less, but he's so much closer to it now.
It just again, it flies in the face of all the things he's talking about. He's been in office for 6 years. He knows how Washington works. He knows how little can get done.
Mm-hmm.
And God forbid you split split control of the two chambers. You're not getting anything done. And even if you do some executive actions, the next administration will come in and rip them down. And it's just it boggles my mind.
Yeah. Yeah, and I know who's not getting anything done. It's definitely the Senate because they're enjoying their recess. And
Oh yeah,
I
all five
Garth, I
weeks,
think, yeah, what a beautiful beautiful recess they've got. All right,
gorgeous.
we'll go on a 6-day recess ourselves. Garth, any closing thoughts here?
No, no, I think we're good. Let's enjoy this last days of summer and really get ready for this midterm run in. Oh, I will say we do have a 2 week sprint to the August 25th runoff in South Carolina between Darlene
Yes.
Norden Graham and Rep Ralph Norman, I believe is his name.
Yeah, and traders really like Darlene after her performance last night. So I'd probably just
Yes.
see her to kind of skate further and closer to that nomination come the 25th. I guess we'll see what
Yeah.
shakes things up. But Darlene, really uncontroversial candidate here, so it'll be tough
Pretty
to
much.
shake that momentum.
Agreed.
Yeah. All right, amazing. Thanks everyone for listening to the Predicted Podcast. Jacob Studwell, Garth Yuckham. Follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, Deezer, Twitter, or sorry, x.com/at PredictedPod, youtube.com/at PredictedOfficial. Catch us next week and have a good one.
See you guys.